Another awesome day. This is so nice. I got to do a. I'm gonna make this an intro. Talk about spontaneity. I'm gonna make this the intro for a video. I was age 56. I was living in the States where I had my entire life. I lived within 1 square mile my entire life, and I was in the. It was my whole life had gone into the dumps, and I'd planned carefully, worked hard, saved my money. You know, been a little more successful than average, did pretty good and all that stuff, and then just dominoes, one after another. Everything just went to just crap. It just, and I had a friend who turned out to not be a very nice person in all honesty, but anybody can be helpful in the moment. People are, I'll never understand people as long as I live, but she said, "You're not done." She goes, "You know, you're not done." And I go, "Nah, man, I'm done. It's over. I've pardon me, I fucked up. You know, I'm in the wrong marriage. I've got the wrong retirement set up. None of this is making me happy. There's just hostility and venom everywhere I turn. I've got arrows being shot at me everywhere I go. Everything is a freaking booby trap. There's no such thing as a correct answer in my world. Everything is just bad and wrong and ugly and getting uglier by the minute." And she goes, No, it's not done. You're not done. It's not over." And here we are. I'm going to tell that story.
Okay, so I just rewatched that intro to try and get myself in the mood, if I can, there a little bit, get it kind of fresh in my head. Hard to think back to those days. That was hell. That was really rough. That was. I'm still kind of just waking up, but the sun's good and the house is quiet, and I figure I probably better make this video now. So I'm gonna sip my machine, which has recently been fixed to better than new. I know they put the new parts from the new model in there because my machine didn't sound at all like that when I operated it before. So this is like wonderful. So I'm only going to apologize halfway for sipping a cappuccino because I still haven't quite woken up all the way. But as much as I try and share like real, right from the front lines, raw content, I edit and do everything myself, and I have no scripts. It can be very hard for me to communicate through this medium to you. I do my best, and the best way that I can do it is just speak right from the heart, right off the top of my head, what I got. So anyway, here we go. So if you're watching this content, statistically, the majority of you are still in your home countries and you're thinking about coming here. That means you're probably not very happy. And one thing you should maybe think about is like, how much unhappiness is it where it maybe tips, like for me, it's sad to say, but I mean, I worked so hard. I was, like I said, an above average, successful small business entrepreneur. Your average entrepreneur, according to statistics that I believed at the time, that I still believe, is successful 1 in 6 times. And for restaurants, it's way worse. I forget the number for restaurants, but it was way worse. And I was successful 50% of the time, at least, maybe close to 2/3. So that's really good. I mean, I had a couple of, where I put money into a project and nothing came of it. That did happen. But generally, when I started a new project, it would turn into a company. It would start making money. Like my aluminum business, I started to make a wood paneling system. And I come up with a very inexpensive way to make beautiful wood paneling. That wasn't particularly durable, but it just had to look good for a commercial space for a few years until they tear it out and do it again. And I made aluminum hardware to put the panels up because I couldn't find any hardware that anybody without like 20 years experience designing rockets or something couldn't put the frickin' paneling. So I made this really simple system based on like an industrial Velcro, and you can like snap these things up, and they snapped up very quickly. And nobody wanted my paneling, but I brought some prospective buyers and distributors out, brought them out to show them, and everybody wanted the hardware. I'm like, the hardware? I ended up making a hardware company. I never sold one panel, never made one panel beyond experimental prototype. And I prototyped and designed and did all the engineering and math for the system in my barn at my first cottage up on the beach in Oscoda, Michigan. That was so much fun. I'm doing math in this big barn that I'd built for myself, beautiful barn, and one of the happier buildings I ever owned. And it was right next to a pond that I built for my son, and that was his favorite place in his whole life. He says he loved that pond. He was really sad to move because of the pond. So we'll have to get him a pond again someday. And that became a pretty good, the hardware company was pretty good. And my boy and I and then I hired helpers when I needed extra labor. Anyway, so I did all that, and here, still, I was in the crapper. What the heck happened, Rob? How did you go from having your own little nice business and your great relationship with your boy and your friends and your weightlifting and your car club and all that, and how'd that all go to heck? Hostility that builds up over time, with other people. And if somebody wants to compete with you, that's great. I'm not a competitive person. I'm competitive with myself, but something about my personality, like I don't enjoy beating the other person. That doesn't make me happy. You can call me a wimp or something if you want, I guess, but I just don't enjoy doing that. I enjoyed the martial arts and knowing I could put someone down if I had to. But in sparring in that, I mean, if I overly, hit a guy a little harder than I meant or something, I didn't go, I got him. I felt, man, I'm really sorry, And so I don't really enjoy hurting people. I think that's normal, right? But some people, they enjoy that. They want to compete against you. And if they can't compete against you because that's the things that you're good at, they're just not good at, then the competition can become everything you do is bad. Everything you do is bad. You made a lot of money. Yeah, but you could have made more, or took you long enough, or, whatever, it just, if someone's really going to be negative about it, they can make anything. Oh, you cured cancer. Oh, great. Well, what are all those cancer researchers going to do now? I mean, you're never going to win with someone like, and it does go that way. And so if you got a lot of negativity and venom in your life, then I'd say, time to get out. But here's kind of a sad statistic or fact. Like there's a psychologist I watch once in a rare while. I don't watch too much of that stuff anymore. But I once in a while, this guy's got some interesting things to say. And he was saying that women and children and pets, obviously excluding pet tortoises, are loved unconditionally. Where men are loved for what they provide. He's got kind of a harsh edge view on things. I don't always agree with him, but that he's probably some shade of gray correct on that, sadly. And so you might be like where I was at 56. Here I was, and I built up a nice little, pretty fat, comfortable retirement for myself, a nice retirement fund, fully funded pension, you could call it. You would think that would put you on a path towards a nice, like I was on this, I'd taken my life seriously, here I was, and things weren't going so hot. So the sad reality of all that was that when I was massively unhappy, and one of the biggest problems is I was lonely, because in the U.S., I mean, a marriage to somebody is an exclusive right, or exclusive. It's like a patent. It's a patent's an exclusive license to sell. People don't realize that. That's what a patent is. It's exclusive license to manufacture, sell, or offer for sale. That's what a patent is. And a marriage contract's kind of the same thing. It's exclusive contract for love and affection. But if they withhold the love and affection, and in fact, instead of love and affection, they give you venom, you're kind of stuck with it. There's really not legally, there's nothing you can do. You can like it or send a big fat check. And they know that. If they know that, and if they're like that, they'll kind of laugh at you and go, well, you better get writing that big old fat check there, buddy. I mean, it can, some people will do that. So that's a situation you don't want to stay in. That I don't recommend staying. Don't stay in any venomous relationships, whether it's a friend, a neighbor. I mean, I've cut so many people out of my life that were throwing venom at me. It's kind of like, it must be interesting to some people or something, because why would they waste their time on me? Well, why was it important that they made sure that Rob got his serving of venom this week? Why? I don't have a list of people I got to make sure they get their serving this week. I don't spend my time on that, but this must be a common pastime for many people. But back to my point I'm trying to get to, that, so in a case like that, okay, your best option probably is to leave, which I did, painful and expensive as it was. But the sad fact is there's really not a whole lot holding you there if you think about it. I mean, your in-laws will immediately stop talking to you, more likely than not. I have maybe one or two friends that have some kind of relationship with their former in-laws, but generally they'll side along battle lines, and that people just are side pickers, and they'll just pick a side. That's it, and say, let them pick their side. Freedom of choice, have at it, buddy. And you've noticed before when you had neighbors that were pretty good friends, but you move, you're not really friends anymore. Mostly, I mean, rare. I mean, if you're both in the same car club or you work out at the same gym, maybe people are just like that, and they kind of forget you pretty quick. So you can move, and no one's going to really much miss you. Hey, Rob, thanks for the good news. So you're kind of free to move, which is that is the good news, I guess. There's your silver lining. You're free to move because no one's going to really care. A lot of times, I mean, I know guys, they're really nice guys. After a divorce, relationship with the kids gets kind of weird. That's really sad to see. To have one spouse make sure they poison their child's relationship with the other parent, just to make sure that well's poisoned, so when they win alone. That everyone else not only doesn't cross the finish line on time, they all died beforehand. What a great person that was. And then, so I was thinking I was washed up. And I really was. I was convinced 100% that there was no rational option of how I'm going to have any more life after this. I was 56. I knew I was headed towards my first spinal surgery. I had the first one about a year before 6 months before the second one. The second one was the really bad one that went bad, and roughly cost me almost 4 years of my life. But that's that, and that's over, praise God. But I got to get to that good news. So I really thought I was washed up. And, here I am now, and it's 5-6 years later. And now it took me a long time because I had a series of spinal surgeries and other surgeries I had to have that you probably don't have to have. It's unlikely you got to have all that or any of that. That's not normal. So if I didn't have that, I'd be brand new, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed less than 24 months after all the poop hit the fan. I mean, I think you can look at a turnaround pretty quick. And in that 24 months, that'll fly by. By the time you maybe make a decision to at least learn some basic Thai, get into school somewhere, scout your locations around Thailand, start getting a handle on the people and the culture. Oh, wow, yeah, these bar girls really don't love me, probably. Yeah, maybe I'll go somewhere else and find somebody to spend real time with. You'll go through all that. But then you can come out this other side, and it's kind of crazy. Like yesterday, I had 2 Thai friends and a Western friend. The one guy, I met him for the first time, so I really can't call him a friend, I guess. Nice guy, though. I ribbed him a little bit, too, because he's kind of young. Well, he's 33, but he looked like he was. I told him, and this is all in Thai, I said I was concerned that he wasn't 18 because I was giving a whiskey tasting at my bar, and everybody laughed. I ribbed him a little bit. He took it really well. Nice little guy there. But but I had some friends come over. We did a whiskey tasting. We put a little music on. We were just joking about life and stuff. With the Western guy, I spoke English, or if I spoke Thai, maybe 2/3 of the time or 60% of the time or something, I'd always give him a translation so I wouldn't noijai him, make him feel left out. Nobody likes that. It's not fair. So it is hard with the dynamic. It's easier if I'm Western guys. That's easy. And the Thai people, it's easy. It's just all Thai. When you got a mixed group, it's a little. I have to kind of go to work and kind of put my hat on and go to work a little bit and make sure that I'm being fair. But it was a nice afternoon and fun. Didn't have time to cook, so she ran up to the one restaurant in our village that has pretty good food other than soup, and she got some mu tot, some mu yang, cow neo, and some Isan food. I don't know what the hell the Isan food was, but it was all not as good as she makes or her mom makes. Her mom and Fawn and her mom are fantastic cooks. I mean, they make a mu tot that's that's like the best Kansas City barbecue you ever had. It's mu tot is deep fried pork, and they do it in these thin little strips. It gets crispy and magically delicious. It's kind of like 3-dimensional bacon. It's like, oh my gosh. obviously very healthy. Eat it every day. It's good for you. So now, so even with a slow guy like me in a really unpleasant situation, here I am, and I'm living in my house, and I felt a little sheepish about the house because it could look like I'm showing off. I mean, which wasn't my intent, and it wasn't an expensive house, as I've thoroughly delineated on the channel and many other videos. But it does look nice. But I kind of explained that away a little. I don't want anyone feeling like I'm pushing on them or pressuring them or trying to brag on them or something. I don't nobody appreciates those guys. I try not to do that. And we all had expensive Harley Davidsons, but now it is so nice. I want to encourage you. So it really isn't that hard. You can come here on a 60-day tourist visa, which you get online in about an hour or something, and they email it back to you. I forget how quickly they email you back your thing, but I think you could even take a screenshot right there. I think it only takes an hour or two. You have to fumble through it. I'm terrible at forms. I got one of those brains. I can write a form, but I can't fill out a form. So I think you do that, and you come here and you just go to your local immigration office and just try not to be a jerk and try to be humble and get some help and hire a translator. And that's honestly the best way. And they'll help you through it. Hey, here's the concept. Go with what the Thai immigration police say. You could do that. This is a rare concept that nobody on the internet seems to want to talk about because everybody else is such a freaking expert. Just go and ask them because it varies province by province. And many of the provinces now have these helpers. They're typically not Thai people. I don't know why, but they're typically Indians or probably generally not Chinese, I don't think. There's status by that here. And a lot of times Indians are well known to speak English really well, which is very common. They must have a phenomenal English program in India or something. And then these errand guys, helpers, will kind of run you around town, with them. And literally on the back of their little motorcycle. That'll be your biggest danger, is the Indian dude driving while you're in the back of his little motorcycle, because man, that's an interesting one. But they'll in a day or two run you around town and get all your paper. You need a driver's license? Yeah, hey, done, got it. What else you need? They'll get you all your everything, all set. You need your bank? Let's get your bank opened. Let's they'll get you set. And the fee for the errand guy is not much. I mean, to me that's the smart play. Obviously I speak Thai without any problem here, and I've got my Thai wife now. Fawn is a government employee, a fairly high level government employee. I'll brag on her. She won't brag, but I'll brag. And we can do this all easily ourselves, and we go and hire the errand guy to help us do all the stuff because it's not that much money and it saves us a ton of time and headache. Why wouldn't you? Oh, you'll probably I would probably go right to the tourist areas first, go to the beach, get some beach time, soak up some sun. If you do all that and chill, relax, don't go crazy over the ladies, and don't believe hardly anything anybody tells you, especially another foreigner. Don't believe anything they say. Check everything twice before you believe it. Assume everybody's lying. In a tourist area, it's rough. I hear more from guys that they've come from tourist areas and they come out here and settle down, and pretty much every story is pretty ugly. So just be careful in the tourist areas. But it's the easy place because the English, and get your stuff done, because your Thai's going to suck when you first get here. It's always going to suck, honestly. Mine still sucks. It's what it is. And then you'll settle in, and then you'll slowly get through your process and all that and build your new life. But when you come out the other side of it, though, it's like I took 15 years off my life. When I was 56, I felt much older than I do now at 62. I feel like not just a false surface of, ooh, I feel younger. I like my native perspective on things is from a more youthful perspective. And man, this cappuccino is fantastic. That's like up there with the best cafes in Korat. It really, top. Amazing. The Philips 5400, get one. And then you get in a whole new life. My plan now is to take this next at least 10 more years and just live this second youth, and this fun, easy, wonderful life that's built around what I like. You may like, and more than likely like, very different things than I do. As I've said many times before, I'm a routine guy. I'm a I'm a staycation guy mostly. I don't really like traveling a whole lot. I like to hit the beach once a year. And that's cool. Maybe next year I'll bump it up to twice. Who knows? But that's kind of it for me. But I love my working out and my studying time and my walking around the malls and my walking around the village and blah blah whatever. I've built a life around all these things that I my motorcycle is like the motorcycle. Why do you like that so much, Rob? So it was a happy childhood memory for me. I would go to this one friend's house, Alex and his little brother. And they had an 80cc Honda dirt bike in an empty field next to their house. So this script writes itself. So we spent many a day out there like morons on this little bike, doing moronic things as teenagers want to do, and that was that. And so it brings me back to those days. And then from Detroit, I'm a muscle car guy. I mean, every weightlifter likes muscle. You go to the gym and you like muscle car, everybody's going to go, yeah. And it's a muscle bike. Muscle car here would be the real big pain in the neck. It would get to the pain in the neck factor. You want to get as much fun as you can without it being a pain in the neck. I'm a big believer that things can own you, And like when my life before, when I was 56, everything owned me. Everybody owned me, I mean, people owned me basically, and all my things owned me. I had to make so much money to pay for 2 houses and all the stuff we owned and the luxury house in Bloomfield Hills and everything. I mean, my monthly nut was just right about 10 grand a month. I was burning right about 10 grand a month in cash, and plus then you got to have savings, and all, you got to make a lot of money, and it, and you're not happy. Here, I take this for granted now, but like I was watching a motorcycle show on YouTube, and the one guy was saying, well, I have my older motorcycle, but the older motorcycle is better than having a new bike and a payment. And I had just kind of taken it for granted and not really appreciated the fact that I pay cash for things, as most senior guys do. And I mean, my motorcycle, I own it for cash. My house, I own it for, I have no payments. Now, I am going to deliberately take on a payment later this year, probably later this year, depending on how things go. But if it feels right and it is right and it's got to be financially super right, or I won't do it, because I take on no financial risk at age 62. I take on none, okay? Everything that is any risk of any kind, I could walk away from and go, well, it kind of sucks, but it didn't really hurt me, okay? So no. And the car I want to finance just mostly because the dollar is really low right now, and it just rubs me the wrong way to be paying when the bot's so expensive. I got to buy stuff in bot. It just seems silly to make a major purchase when the dollar is at like its all-time low point of the last 5 years or something. It just seems a little silly, so I'm going to finance it just to spread out the risk, and whatever it does, it does. It's not that it's out of my head, not my problem. Because what future am I saving for? I'm 62 and I just survived a giant health crisis and I'm still not out of it. So I'm not exactly saving for like when I'm in my 80s, I don't care how fancy of a cup I can drool into, that really isn't like a big priority for me. I like, hey, it's silver and it's engraved. Isn't this nice? No, I don't care. So, and I'm going to circle back, but this will have a shelf life to it. Fawn knows all this. She may want to come with me. She probably won't. A lot of your real Thai people, your real traditional Thai people aren't that curious about America. It's very expensive over there. For us to both live there, we're burning a ton of cash. What I do really want to bring her back at least once and show her like my life and my friends and where I live. And because I still have an apartment back there I share with my boy. And I want her to see all that. And I want them to meet her. That's important to me. That's an emotionally important kind of thing. And I think Fawn, I think she feels the same way. But other than that, to like live there, yeah, I could help. Me and my boy could help her get a job, and she knows enough English she could work, and all. But you start getting a more complicated life, and I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But that's not necessary. The momentum is not going that way. Okay, see, your life can be totally rotten. Mine sure was. I never could find where this quote came from. I don't know who said it first, but it's brilliant. It's something, I'm going to paraphrase it roughly, but it's important for you to know. In any conflict, the party with the least regard for ethics defines the rules of engagement. So if you're with someone that just wants to take everything right to the freaking gutter, your conflict will take place in the gutter. There's not really much you can do about that. So just be warned. You know, I lost a lot, but did I really? Because anybody that couldn't sympathize with my side of things at all, that's not really a friend. But then it becomes a great big fat who cares, because you recharge, you rebuild, and you have a whole brand new life ahead of you. And like I said, I'm roughly 15, almost 20 years younger here. And man, every day it's just like what I want to do. Like, you know, today I'm like, I might do a light arm day. I might not. I'm going to go to the mall. They've got a car thing going on at the mall. I'm going to walk around with Fawn and do that. Then we're going to get something to eat. You know, we'll come back home, maybe have a little alone time here at the house. There's a plan, you know. Might get a massage today. Maybe I'll work out tomorrow. I don't know. I got to think about it. These are big thoughts. So, and this is my life every day. I love it. It's so nice. And the house is really, it's funny, the little things that can make a guy happy, but getting my little smoking table, I'll call it. I'm going to probably smoke on it once a month, but my little smoking table. And I hung up, I'll put a picture in. I hung up some of my old motorcycle parts on the wall in front of the garage, on the back wall of the garage, right in front of where I parked my bike. And I kind of made it artistically, but it's storing old parts that need to be stored and are very expensive, and I don't want to rust or rot or whatever. And I made them into decoration. I like doing decoration from everyday things. And I did that, and then my friend Joker made me a little work cart. I mean, I had a full 1,000 square foot shop, 800 square foot shop in my basement of my house, 10 grand or more in tools. And now I have a little teeny tiny cart. It's like pathetic, you know, but it's all I need and all I want. And that's a pay grade for my spine, what I can handle. And these little finishing cherry on top things really kind of made me happy. I was kind of surprised. Oh, and I mounted my Rambo knife up just under my mantle. Maybe I'll throw a picture of that in. Anyways, here I am, full circle. I don't know if you can get a whole lot lower than I was. Unless you got charges pending, you're not going to get a whole lot lower than I was. And unless you're doing multiple lines of coke every day, you're not going to get a whole lot higher than I am now. So, this is a natural high, obviously. But so I think if I did it, you can do it. There you go. Anyways, I hope these videos help some people. I know they have. I love it when I get a direct email from somebody saying, "Hey, thanks. You know, I read your book. I did this. Realized I was dating a bar girl, and then I met her. Then I realized the brother was the husband, and I got out, and now I'm happy, and I'm, you know, blah 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 blah." And I love those stories. And I get that almost every month, so it makes me happy. So we'll help a couple of guys move on with their good retirements. We all deserve a reasonable retirement. For crying out loud, you work 35 years somewhere. You got to get some freaking peace before you're pushing around a walker, right? I think that's only fair. So God bless. Take care.
And here's the bonus footage. There's a little smoking table in front of my new couch. I've been very happy with that. Here's a vase that a good friend of mine gave me as a wedding gift. Very pretty. Love the color. And here's my Phillips 5400. And here's a bigger, better picture of my motorcycle with the spare parts parked in front of it. I love that little happy spot of my house. And here's just a beautiful recent picture of me and Fawn. Love the smile on her face.
This is Rob. Video's over. I'm closing my gate. But if you've been liking or subscribing, and praise God if you've been a member of the channel, I really appreciate you. I appreciate everyone that watches. You have a great day.